Hello and welcome to this, our second in a series of videos all about what it's like to drive an electric vehicle. Now, something that came up in every discussion was the subject of regenerative braking. This is how electric vehicles regain energy by braking or indeed just going down hills. So let's find out how it works and what it feels like as a driver.
That'll of course lead on to the regenerative braking, that side of things, which is the major difference. I don't know whether that's something you want to talk about now or...
Yeah, go for it, yeah.
Basically, one of the reasons, let's say you've got an electric car that does, say, 150-mile range on the battery. Well, part of that range is caused by the regenerative braking, so that every time you brake in the car, it basically turns the electric motor around into a generator and puts that energy back into the battery. So if you climb a hill, you'll get about 60% of it back. 60% of the energy you consume on the way up, you get on the way down. So you can it's a bit like engine braking. So when you're descending the hill, you lift off the accelerator and then you're going down the hill and in control, and you're getting a lot of the energy back.
On more recent models, you can adjust basically you're adjusting the amount of power that goes back through the motor and into the battery when you decelerate. And obviously the more power it takes back in, then the greater the braking effect. My Zoe doesn't have that. But it does have a much greater braking effect. The decelerating, if you take your foot off, it does have a much greater braking effect than the diesel. You get back into the diesel and take your foot off, and it just seems to run on forever somehow. And that's the main reason why it's so much more efficient around town, because with a petrol, it costs you more to accelerate and to change gears. It does with the electric vehicle, but with the electric vehicle, you recover that when you're decelerating, and whereas with the petrol, you don't.
But then that leads to the prospect of people talk about one pedal driving, so that when you take your foot off the throttle, it actually feels as though you're braking. So in that situation, you're just using your foot on the throttle pedal, because you're just pressing it down to kind of speed up, and then you're pulling your foot off the throttle, in order to decelerate. So you find yourself not using the brake pedal so much. So that's that's maybe something that takes a little bit longer to adjust to, but when you do, it just feels very natural.
Yeah, I'm not a car person, and I'm somebody that wants a car because I want to get somewhere, and I don't want it to be super difficult to drive, and I want it to function for me. But what I found is, there's all this technical stuff about the braking and how it works. To actually drive it, you don't need to know. You put your foot on the brake pedal and it brakes. If you want to be really good at managing to recuperate as much energy as you can from braking, ours has got a little thing on the dashboard, and when it's gaining energy from the braking, it shows you how it sort of moves at a different speed depending on how much it's saving. So if you want to get into kind of coasting and trying to gain miles that way, you can do. But if you're not interested in that and you just want to go to the shop, you can just drive it like an automatic.